Did you know that some of the vegetables you eat every day could be quietly working against your sexual health, without you even realizing it? For men over 60, certain foods that were once considered healthy may now be contributing to low energy, poor performance, and a decline in overall confidence. This isn't just about diet, it's about how your body changes with age and how even the smallest shifts in nutrition can have a big impact on your ability to feel like yourself. That's why this conversation is so important. Today, we're exposing 4 common vegetables that could be sabotaging your erections and hormonal balance, vegetables you might have in your kitchen right now. You hear plenty about cholesterol and heart disease, but no one really talks about the health of your private parts, about maintaining a strong libido, consistent energy, and the ability to enjoy intimacy well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. These things matter, and they don't just disappear with age unless you let them. Let's start with the first culprit: soy-based vegetables and products like soybeans, tofu, tempeh, and edamame. These have long been marketed as healthy alternatives to meat and are widely accepted as a good source of plant-based protein. But for older men, they come with a hidden cost. The issue lies in compounds called phytoestrogens, plant estrogens that mimic the body's natural estrogen. While small amounts may not cause immediate issues, regular or excessive consumption can gradually tip your hormonal balance in the wrong direction, especially when testosterone is already on the decline due to aging. Testosterone plays a central role in male sexual health, supporting everything from libido and stamina to confidence and the strength of your erections. So when that balance is disrupted, the effects can be frustrating. Less energy, slower arousal, and a noticeable dip in masculine vitality. Take Harold, a 74-year-old retiree who thought he was making all the right choices. He cut back on meat, added tofu to his meals, switched to soy milk, and believed he was doing his body a favor. But within weeks, he felt sluggish, foggy, and disconnected in the bedroom. It wasn't until a nutritionist flagged his high soy intake that things began to change. After cutting back and making smarter food swaps, Harold saw a significant turnaround in both his mood and sexual performance. The takeaway isn't that soy is evil. It's that for aging men, moderation is crucial. Your hormones are more sensitive now, and what worked for you at 40 may not serve you at 70. So if you're noticing a drop in your drive or function, start by asking how much soy is on your plate. Canned green beans may seem like a harmless and convenient food, something you've probably eaten for decades without a second thought. For many older men, they're an affordable, nostalgic staple that fits easily into a simple, low-effort diet. But if you're over 60 and concerned about your sexual health, this seemingly innocent side dish could be undermining your efforts in a big way. The issue isn't with green beans themselves. They're actually quite healthy in their natural state. The problem lies in how they're packaged. Canned green beans are often loaded with excessive sodium, synthetic preservatives, and sometimes even bisphenol, a BPA, a chemical found in the lining of many food cans. All of these additives can negatively impact 2 critical components of male sexual health: hormone balance and blood flow. As testosterone levels naturally decline with age, your body becomes more vulnerable to outside factors that further suppress or disrupt this delicate balance. Add to that the fact that excess sodium can raise blood pressure and reduce circulation, and you've got a recipe for ongoing erectile difficulties. The convenience of canned food may come at a serious cost. Consider the story of Ronald, a 69-year-old widower from Indiana. After switching to canned vegetables for ease and longer shelf life, he noticed a steady decline in his energy, rising blood pressure, and a fading sense of virility. It wasn't until his doctor advised him to cut back on canned goods and opt for fresh or frozen alternatives that he started to feel like himself again. His energy returned, his blood pressure normalized, and his confidence began to rebuild. The takeaway? It's not that green beans are the enemy, it's about being aware of what comes with them. Fresh green beans are an excellent choice. Frozen ones, particularly those without added sauces or preservatives, are also a great alternative. But canned varieties, though convenient, may be silently draining your vitality. If you're over 60 and wondering why things aren't functioning the way they used to, it might be time to check your pantry. Sometimes the most subtle habits, like relying on canned veggies, can have a big impact on how you feel and perform. If this message resonates with you, leave a comment with the number 2 below to let me know you're still watching. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos like this one. Now, let's keep going. Third on the list, soy meat alternatives. In recent years, products like soy burgers, soy sausages, and plant-based cold cuts have surged in popularity as more people move away from red meat in favor of what's marketed as healthier, more sustainable options. But if you're a man over 60 and looking to maintain strong sexual function, these so-called healthy choices may come with a hidden downside. The issue again, this disrupts the delicate testosterone to estrogen ratio, which is vital for preserving sex drive, maintaining mood stability, supporting muscle tone, and ensuring strong, reliable erections. While these effects don't always appear overnight, they tend to creep in gradually, starting with lower energy, softer responses, and a general sense of feeling off. So, while switching to plant-based meats might seem like a smart move, it's important to look deeper and make sure those health-conscious decisions are actually serving your unique needs. Especially as you age, what your body tolerates changes, and what you once thought was healthy might now be holding you back. There's even science to support this concern. A study published in the journal Fertility and Sterility found that men who consumed high amounts of soy products had significantly lower sperm concentrations. While the study primarily addressed fertility, the underlying implication is hard to ignore. Too much soy, particularly in processed form, can disrupt male sexual function. This is especially concerning for men over 60, who are already dealing with age-related declines in testosterone. Take Charles, a 72-year-old retired teacher from Ohio. After being inspired by a documentary on plant-based living, he gave up meat completely and started eating soy sausages, tofu, and other meat substitutes daily. For a while, he felt good about his choices. But within 8 months, he noticed a steep drop in his sex drive, increased mental fog, and a persistent sense of fatigue. It wasn't until he consulted a nutritionist that he realized his heavy intake of processed soy was likely throwing off his hormones. By replacing soy-based fake meats with lean fish, legumes, and whole grains, he was able to regain his energy and mental clarity without abandoning his plant-based lifestyle. The key was balance. Soy in its natural form, eaten in moderation, is usually fine. The real problem arises when processed soy products are consumed as a daily staple. These items are marketed as healthy, but for older men, they can slowly rob you of vitality, confidence, and sexual drive. And remember, erections aren't just physical, they're deeply connected to your emotions and mental health. When your hormones are out of sync, your mood suffers, your stress tolerance drops, and your self-esteem takes a hit. That's why it's so important to be mindful of the foods you consume, especially those that present themselves as healthy. If you're filling your fridge with veggie burgers and soy hot dogs thinking they're good for your heart, it's worth asking if they're actually making you feel stronger or silently draining your energy. Now let's move to the fourth vegetable culprit, beans canned in syrup or sauce. Most people think of beans as a go-to health food, and they are, in their natural form. They're full of fiber, protein, and nutrients that support heart and digestive health. But once they're canned in sugary sauces or salty brines, everything changes. For men over 60, these sweetened or highly processed beans, like baked beans, chili beans, or beans in barbecue sauce, can quietly sabotage your sexual performance. It's not just about added calories or sodium. It's about what these additives do to your blood vessels. Erections are entirely dependent on healthy circulation. When the arteries leading to the penis become stiff, narrowed, or inflamed, the result is slower, weaker, or inconsistent performance. And foods high in sugar and salt, like canned sweet beans, contribute to chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, and elevated blood pressure, all of which damage the systems that support healthy erections. Consider Marvin, a 78-year-old retired firefighter from New Jersey. He loved baked beans, the kind with thick, sweet sauce that reminded him of summer cookouts. But over time, he noticed changes. His morning energy was gone, his waistline crept up, and his erections weren't what they used to be. He chalked it up to aging, until a cardiologist visit revealed that his blood sugar was dangerously high. Marvin was stunned. He didn't eat dessert, barely touched soda, but he was eating canned beans in sweet sauce 3 to 4 times a week. Once he replaced them with homemade beans seasoned with garlic and olive oil, things began to change. His energy returned, his blood sugar dropped, and his sex life improved. The lesson here isn't to fear beans, it's to pay attention to what they're soaked in. The sugary, nostalgic sauces may taste comforting, but they're often silently wreaking havoc on your vascular system. And since the smallest blood vessels in the body are in the penis, they're usually the first to show signs of trouble. There's also a mental health factor to consider. When you're eating heavy, sugary foods, your energy drops, your mood sours, and your libido takes a hit. That leads to less intimacy, less confidence, and more emotional distance. It's a cycle that becomes harder to break the longer it continues. But here's the good news, these effects aren't permanent. By making small, smarter choices in the kitchen, you can start to restore your energy, circulation, and confidence. It doesn't mean giving up the foods you love, just being a little more mindful of how they're prepared and how often you rely on them. Your health, vitality, and sense of masculinity are worth that attention. Giving up canned beans doesn't mean giving up beans entirely. In fact, kidney beans, black beans, navy beans, and chickpeas are still incredibly nutritious options, as long as they're not drenched in syrup, molasses, or salty sauces. When you prepare them yourself or buy them canned in water and rinse them thoroughly, you preserve their health benefits without compromising your blood flow or adding hidden sugars and sodium. The next time you reach for that familiar can in your pantry, remember that your heart, your brain, and yes, your manhood all rely on healthy blood circulation. And circulation is directly influenced by what you put on your plate. Don't let a few spoonfuls. If this information is hitting home and you're still watching, drop a number 4 in the comments to let me know you're here. And if you haven't yet subscribed, now's a great time. Hit that button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could help you live stronger, longer, and more confidently. Now let's talk about the 5th vegetable that could be interfering with your sexual health: raw cruciferous vegetables. That includes broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, the usual superfood suspects. These vegetables are praised for good reason. They're full of fiber, antioxidants, and compounds that help fight inflammation and even reduce cancer risk. But when eaten raw in large amounts, especially by men over 60, they can have unintended effects on your testosterone and your ability to maintain healthy erections. The reason lies in compounds known as goitrogens, naturally found in raw cruciferous vegetables. In high amounts, these substances can interfere with the thyroid gland's ability to produce hormones. For aging men, this matters more than you might think. Your thyroid controls metabolism, energy levels, and hormone regulation, including testosterone. When your thyroid function is impaired, even slightly, the results can show up in your mood, energy, motivation, and yes, sexual performance. Consider Alan, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Colorado who thought he was making smart choices by blending raw kale and broccoli into his morning smoothies. But over time, he began to feel constantly tired, unusually cold, and less interested in intimacy. A blood test revealed underactive thyroid function, and his nutritionist identified his high intake of raw cruciferous vegetables as a likely cause. Alan didn't stop eating them altogether. He simply started steaming them instead. And once he did, his energy returned, his thyroid levels normalized, and his confidence improved. The lesson here is that moderation and preparation matter, especially after 60. Cooking these vegetables, by steaming, sautéing, or lightly roasting, helps neutralize goitrogens, making them easier on your thyroid while still delivering all the fiber and nutrients your body needs. There's another angle too: digestion. Raw cruciferous vegetables can be difficult to break down, especially for older adults with slower digestive systems. This can lead to bloating, gas, and general discomfort. While it may not sound serious, feeling physically unwell makes it much harder to feel relaxed, connected, or sexually responsive. Stress and digestive upset often go hand in hand, and together, they can take a significant toll on arousal and performance. The point is, sexual health isn't just about what happens in the bedroom. It starts in the kitchen, at the grocery store, and with the everyday food choices you make. When you support your body with balanced, age-appropriate nutrition, you give yourself the best chance to maintain the energy, drive, and confidence that makes life fulfilling at any age. It all comes down to how your body processes food, balances hormones, and maintains energy throughout the day. While raw kale or broccoli may look like the gold standard of clean eating, overdoing them, especially in their raw form, can quietly drain your energy and interfere with your hormonal balance. The takeaway here isn't to avoid cruciferous vegetables, but to be smart about how you prepare them. They're still powerful allies for your health, packed with nutrients that support long-term wellness. Just make sure you're not sabotaging your system by eating them in a way that works against you. Lightly sautéing them in olive oil, steaming them until tender, or roasting them with garlic and lemon can make all the difference. Your body will absorb the benefits without the unwanted side effects, and your partner will likely notice the change too. So, let's wrap this up with a final thought. Are you beginning to see how much your food choices influence the way you feel, especially after 60? It's easy to dismiss talk about vegetables and erectile health as overblown or trendy. But the truth is, as you get older, your body becomes more responsive to what you feed it, not less. Foods that seemed harmless decades ago can now have a much stronger effect on your hormones, energy levels, and sexual function. Many men chalk up changes in erection quality to aging, assuming it's just part of the process. But what if it's not just age? What if your daily meals are quietly telling your body how to perform, either boosting your strength or slowly undermining it? The goal here isn't to overthink or restrict every bite you take. It's to become aware and intentional. Because once you understand how your body works, you gain control over how you age. If you saw yourself in any of the foods we covered today, whether it's processed soy, canned veggies, or raw cruciferous overload, this might be the right moment to adjust course. Not with huge sacrifices or joyless eating, but with small, deliberate changes that nourish your energy, circulation, and confidence. Every meal is more than just food. It's a message you send to your body. And the message you send today will shape how you feel tomorrow. Will it say strength and renewal, or will it whisper stress and depletion? You've made it to this point because you care about your health and your future. That commitment matters. It's what separates those who just age from those who age well, with vitality, purpose, and connection. Thank you for joining us. If you found this helpful, please leave a comment.